Hi everyone, Effie here. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card created with our Haute Wedding Dress set. I was inspired to create this design from Claire Danes' Met Gala dress about a week ago. I'm starting out with some heavyweight 110-pound black cardstock. I cut it down to 4¼ by 5½ inches, which is A2 size, and I placed it into my mini MISTI and I prepped it with some anti-static powder tool. I already positioned the dress stamp on my mini MISTI, so I inked it up with some Hampton white pigment ink and I closed the cover to stamp it. Now I'm just going to pour some clear embossing powder onto my panel and heat it with my heat tool. Then I'm just going to take a towel and buff away all of that anti-static powder tool so that there's no ghosting going on in my panel. And now comes the fun and fabulous part of this project, the painting of the dress. So I'm using Gansai Tombi's new Starry Night palette. I'm using the white or the silver watercolor paint from that palette. And I'm using my aqua brush to just paint along the lines of the dress. Since the lines from the stamp are already there, you just need to follow it with your brush. And you just need to use long downward flowy strokes and kind of have confidence in your strokes. The lines are already there, so just follow it with your brush and it's going to be fabulous. You're going to stop about midway from the bottom of the bodice because you don't want to saturate the entire dress with this light white silvery paint. To make sure that you get that wow effect, you want to leave some of that black cardstock showing underneath the paint so that you have the different colors showing, because we are going to be using some turquoise perfect pearls later, so you want a play of colors with the turquoise and the light white silvery paint and the black cardstock. Now we're going to start to paint the bottom of the dress. We're just going in short upward strokes and I'm just kind of flicking my aqua brush very lightly, and I'm just using the tip of my aqua brush to make those feathery kind of upstrokes. Here I kind of went outside the lines and I try to wipe it away. There's a little bit of residue of the watercolor, so later I am going to try to take my sand eraser to try to erase that part, and it's not really a big deal. You can't really see it that much. So I am using cardstock to do this watercoloring. However, I did mention that I'm using 110-pound and it's very heavyweight, so it can take a little bit of water without warping too much. So just make sure that you don't have too much water on your brush when you're painting the watercolors onto your cardstock. You just need enough of the water to activate the pigment in the Gansai Tombies. Now I'm going to start to paint the bodice of the dress, and I'm kind of using Claire Danes' dress as my inspiration here. So she kind of had like a upside down V along the bodice, so I kind of just followed that. And I'm creating the outline with the light silver or white watercolor paint. Once I'm done with this, I'm going to go in with my Perfect Pearls turquoise and I'm going to start to paint along the insides of the skirt. So I'm just going to go along the lines within the skirt and I'm just using long brush strokes. I don't want to paint too much of the turquoise because I don't want to cover up that light white silvery part. You know, I want the play of colors with the turquoise and the black and the white. I'm using the same technique that I use for the white part of the dress. So I'm just going to play some music here and you guys can watch me paint the skirt in real time. I didn't speed up this video because I know that some people want me to slow down the video when I do my watercolors. Now that the dress portion of the card is finished, I'm just going to heat the entire panel with my heat tool to make sure that it is dry because I'm going to be doing some more heat embossing. But before I go on to the heat embossing portion, I'm taking my Sending Peony stamp set. This is the cluster stamp from that set, and I'm just inking it up with some Hampton white pigment ink, and I'm stamping along these corners of my card. And now I'm just going to clear emboss the florals. I did prep the corners of my card panel with some anti-static powder tool before I stamped the peony clusters. I just did that off camera. After I finish clear embossing my panel, I'm going to stamp the sentiment. I'm using our basic sentiments, and I just put together To a Fabulous Friend, and I'm stamping this with Hampton White Pigment ink as well. I had it positioned on my acrylic block already, so it was just easy to just stamp it right onto my panel. Now I'm just taking more of the Turquoise Perfect Pearls and I'm adding some shading to the peonies. After I color in the peonies, I'm just taking the same light silver watercolor paint and I'm going to paint in the leaves in my cluster. Now that the painting is all finished, I'm going to trim about 1/8 of an inch on both sides of my card panel. Then I'm going to buff away all of that anti-static powder tool to get rid of that ghosting. And now I'm going to cut strips of our new holographic adhesive paper. These come in half sheets. I'm just going to cut some thin strips because these are going to go on either side of our card base. For this project, I'm using our silver holographic adhesive paper. Once I've put down both strips, I'm going to adhere the card panel onto the card base. And you're going to be able to see that holographic paper on either side of the panel. And it's just going to give it a really nice finished look to the entire project. My Claire Danes dress is now finished. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you next time. Bye!